Auto racing has traditionally been a sport which is conducted in mild, friendly climates. The professional racing seasons of the world's major sanctioning bodies stretch across the spring, summer, and early autumn months. Then everyone basically goes home for the winter. Except for these racers. Their season doesn't begin until the middle of winter, and it had better be a nice and cold winter on top of that, since they race on top of the ice. Ice racing is a sport that dates back several decades, and due to the nature of America's climatology, most ice racing is held in the northern states of the country, with much of it centered in northern and western New England. This event was a tri-club affair, involving 3 clubs from Massachusetts and New Hampshire on a small lake in Ashburnham, Massachusetts, about 45 miles west of Boston. The course for the event was one common to ice racing. Nothing too complicated, just a short oval, which was cleared of several inches of snow before the racing by club members who donated the use of their pickup trucks and plow blades. The cars that compete fall into 3 classes: 4-cylinder front or rear-wheel drive, stocks, and modifieds. All cars must have the usual safety devices, such as seat belts, and sound overall construction. And they run tire chains on all 4 wheels to give them adequate bite. Beyond that, especially in the modified class, it's pretty much run what you brung. There's no prize money, just trophies and a seasonal points championship. And Pete Giamalvo, the vice president of the Jaffrey Ice Racing Club, says the season doesn't last very long.
Our season's so short. You know, we can only race 2-3 times a year. Some years we race 6-8 times, but the way the weather's been lately, we get 3-4 weekends in out of a whole year. These guys spend all the money in their cars to race 3 weekends. We're lucky, so everybody's always ready.
When ice racing was born over 25 years ago, the cars were little more than beat-up jalopies, and the racers were typically described as local renegades trying to cut through the boredom of a long New England winter. But ice racing today boasts some well-built and cleanly detailed cars, like Alan Dara's 289 Ford V8 powered 5-window coupe.
Believe it or not, this is a 1930 Model A body. It's a Ford running gear in it. 289 Ford, 66 engine. And actually, it's done very well for me. I've won an awful lot of races with it.
And ice racing has truly become a family-oriented sport. In fact, even women, like Kim Hazard, now compete with the menfolk. And she loves it.
Power, speed. I love speed. I love to go fast. The faster, the better. I have no fear.
Ice racing driving techniques are a combination of proven fundamentals and personal preferences. Some cars have 2 brake pedals to control the brakes on each side of the car separately. And most drivers agree that the less you can see during a race, the better.
Well, you just keep your toe right into it, and as long as there's snow blowing off your windshield, you know the guy in front of you is all right on the line, and if it stops, you're in trouble.
And as you might imagine, here's a motorsport that doesn't require you to dig real deep when the snow is.
It's probably the cheapest form of auto racing. Asphalt racing of any kind is getting pretty expensive today. Ice racing is probably the least expensive of all racing.
And one of the safest. Before anyone takes to the ice racing clubs require no less than a 12-inch thick ice surface on the day of the event. One obvious reason is that the ice has to be able to support the weight of all these cars. But there's another reason too.
If we have 11.5, we don't go. We got to have 12, because at the end of the day, in the turns, they'll be down to 5-6 inches in some of the grooves, and so we got to start with the full 12.
Another fringe benefit of ice racing is the locale, since most events are held in some of the most scenic areas of the country, with snowy landscapes framed by picturesque mountains and meadows. Well, the next race is about to start, and we've been invited to jump in and belt up. Ice racing can definitely chase away those midwinter yuckies that racing junkies suffer from the end of one motor racing season until the beginning of the next. This is one sport that is both ice cold and red hot.